Hey guys, quick video. Just got a car going past and I've got the window down trying to show you the noise. Things always work out that way, don't they? But the important message is this Hilux cold. The coolant temp was, I just started up a minute ago, right? And we've been talking about rattles and when to replace your injectors or not. And I'm literally listening, accelerating on and off the gas the whole time. I've been driving about a minute and a half, 2 minutes. Didn't start the video long after I started driving. The thing's stone cold, I'll tell you. Bloody beautiful. Now I'll put the window up, I'll give you a little bit of feedback. Okay, so for those that have been watching, once again, this is only initial results, you know, what's it called? Preliminary findings are, we've got an empty can of paint on the seat making some noise. Just on the way down to RIPCO to get some wheel paint for those that are interested. Duplicolor in satin black, we've got a video on that. I asked for that, they sent me the VHT. Both paint's not bad. I just like the finish on the Duplicolor. It's a bit more of a satin, more of a matte type thing. It looks better and easier to apply for the DIY. The VHT sprays a lot more heavily and easier to muck up and end up with runs and stuff like that. Now, back onto the subject here, this Hilux and what's noisy and not, and what's normal or not, and that, all that sort of thing. Camera might be shaking around a little bit, I don't know, you get that. We've got our awesome Donaldson suspension on the way, so very soon the ride in this Hilux is probably going to get a whole lot better. I'll have some feedback for you on that. So when to replace your injectors. So this vehicle, it was noisy. We put a new set of injectors in. It was quiet when it was cold, but it was still noisy, and I thought, okay, what else is going on? We've done a lot of swapping this, swapping that. Then we had a Prado come in, a 2014 Prado at 170 odd K, right where we recommend that's where to replace the injectors as prevention. He wasn't complaining that they're noisy or anything like that, and I said, well, here we go. Prados are always quiet. Let's get these injectors and put them in the Hilux and just let's see what happens, right? So we did that. It was still the same when it was hot, the same old rattles. And if I stop talking for a minute, you might even hear a bit of a rattle now. So I'm gonna take a breath every now and then, so just be patient. You can get a bit of a rattle out of it. Doesn't mean it's silent, but when I put these, what I'm going to call old injectors in, 2014, and I'm not saying they're bad injectors, they were very good injectors still, but with those injectors in there, when I started up and I drove out cold, I heard some really awful, rattly, knocky noises that, and not that bad, not the worst you've ever heard, but not what I'd expect to hear and not what I like to hear, right? And I didn't believe that I had that with the new injectors, you know, we'll call it the second set. This is the third set, the old used injectors from the Prado. They were noisy when cold. Now, we've put this brand new Thai set of injectors in, and it's just like the other new set of injectors. I wouldn't say it's any better or any worse, but it is like quiet again when it's cold. Now, where I hear most of the noise out of this engine, we'll call it, the noise the engine makes is obviously with the radio off and the windows up, so like now, okay? So what I'm hearing, obviously you've got every opportunity to hear everything when you've got the windows up and the radio off. So maybe I'm listening too much, maybe because I specialise in this, I'm expecting my vehicle to be too good. So we're just going to continue comparing the other Hiluxes we do that we work on and that sort of thing. It's obviously hard to tell with autos and manuals and different configurations. Just wanted to give you that quick bit of feedback that I'm impressed that I've got the new injectors in again, because even though I was sort of second guessing, going, oh, maybe I shouldn't replace them, because originally I wanted to push out an original set and see how far they'll go. I was going to reseat them, but just to see how far the injectors can go. But putting those used injectors in, so I suppose the example is in a Prado they weren't noisy, and in a Hilux they were noisy. So it just goes to show Hilux are definitely noisier. You're not going to get the same quiet results out of a Hilux than in a Prado, except for that one we did recently where I believe it was really quiet. Let's just have a listen again as we move off the mark here. Window up. rattle that comes in about just under 2,000 revs. Anyway, here we are, RIPCO. I'm going in. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, turn the bell on, give you some more feedback later on. Anyway, back out of RIPCO. Have a listen to this, right? It's like on and off like a tap. As soon as you get to 2,000 revs, in comes the rattle. Anyway, it's a characteristic of a lot of these vehicles, but not all of them. That's the thing. So that's why I'm trying to chase it and to get to the bottom of it, because it's a pretty nasty sounding rattle. And we definitely know it's not the injectors in this case causing that rattle, because we've had so many different sets in there, including 2 new ones. But I want to be clear. The 170k injectors we put in from the Quiet Prado were part of the problem, and I've got an incoming call, so I don't know how that works. So just to recap, I'm not trying to sell you injectors, I'm trying to unsell you injectors as much as sell you, but on that point, I want to say we've got more injectors in stock than ever before and readily available from one of our suppliers, so there's no issue with supply. But I don't want you replacing your injectors if you've done them recently or if they're not that old, as long as you got brand new genuine Denso, you know what I mean? You know, if you got your injectors from me, you know they're brand new genuine, everything's okay. Okay, so this is where it gets confusing, because there is a lot, and for a lot of suppliers the only thing available at the moment is rebuilt injectors, remanufactured, whatever you want to call it. But let's have a listen to this. This is silent at just under 1,500 revs, 80 k's, under load in fourth. I'm generally building the power into it, the accelerator, pushing the pedal. It's dead set silent. We've reached 85 k's an hour, right? Well, almost on the speedo. I'm reading the speedo, it's about 4 k's out. Of course we're not speeding, never, right? But as you can see, just moving with the traffic at the speed limit. Right now we're back to about, you know, 75. Again, always reading the speedo, not doing the calculation for the part that's out. My point is, this vehicle's very quiet with new injectors, and it's got rid of that cold rattle. That cold rattle that wasn't there. You know, the cold rattle wasn't there with the new injectors, and it was there with both all the used injectors, if you know what I mean. But the hot rattle that is a characteristic of the vehicle there sometimes, that's the one that you're probably not going to get rid of. As I said on this vehicle, we've swapped Gnostic many parts, suction control valves, MAF sensors, whatever you like. We've been through anything that's going to make any difference to it whatsoever. Right, cleaning, replacing sensors, swapping out parts, and it all makes absolutely zero difference. Fuel additives, cetone boosters, adding snorkels, you know, whatever the case may be. Nothing has changed that. It is obviously a characteristic of the Hilux. The Hilux hasn't got as much sound insulation. It's more noisy than the Prado. The injectors that were quiet in the Prado were noisy in the Hilux, right? It comes on like on tap at light acceleration loads, just as it reaches so under 2,000 revs is quiet. It hits 2,000 revs and there's a rattle there, but it's generally under light acceleration. You accelerate a bit more and you get rid of it. So don't get me wrong, when you've got the radio off and the window up and you're listening carefully, that's when you hear it. If you have the radio on and the window down, you're probably not even going to hear it. This is not a bad rattle, this is not a problem. I'm just trying to provide the information that, hey, I'm probably too fussy and listening too much, but so other people aren't worrying about theirs. But on the same note, I don't want you to not worry when it's a cold rattle that goes away, that snuck up on you. You've had the car since new, it's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, and it's slowly snuck up and you haven't noticed it. When people change their injectors and put new ones in, that's where they go, wow, that's heaps quieter, you know what I mean? Because it's like a switch going back from the old worn ones to new ones, but the new ones slowly getting worn happens slowly. Anyway, I hope that helps you understand a bit better. Again, you know, subscribe, turn the bell, and we'll have some more info, some more feedback for you later. This is a preliminary, but there's nothing wrong with these injectors or the last set of new ones. Obviously all the other ones were a bit worn, but not too bad either. Thanks for watching. Catch ya.